Sound of Music, let's go. Don't worry guys, I didn't want you guys to suffer through my singing voice with that one, so I decided to whistle it. And yes, my name is Brandon, aka the Brando Critic, and today we are talking about one of my favorite movies of all time, The Sound of Music. And yes, as you can see, I've got my Bavarian style shirt on, and I'm here to tell you whether or not Sound of Music is worth a watch today. Spoiler alert, it is. This is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Right off the bat, I'll tell you guys right now, this is a near perfect movie. But before we dive into the story, I just want to say if you guys are new to the channel and you like talking about movies, that's what we do here, so consider hitting that subscribe button. So in The Sound of Music we have Maria, played by Julie Andrews, and she is living in the Nuremberg Abbey in Salzburg, Austria in 1938. She is full of enthusiasm, imagination, and absolutely loves music. However, this, along with Maria's lack of discipline, raises concerns amongst the other nuns at the abbey. The mother abbess, played by Peggy Wood, believes that Maria may enjoy life much more outside the abbey and arranges for her to be a governess for the 7 children of Captain Von Trapp, played by Christopher Plummer, a retired naval officer who has been raising his children with extremely strict military discipline ever since the death of his wife. Now with Maria in the house, the Von Trapp family soon rediscover the joy life has to offer through The Sound of Music. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't really know where to start with this one because it's a movie that I grew up watching. I watched this movie all the time, and it's a 3-hour-long movie, but you know what? Me and my sister and the entire family, we sat down, we watched the entire thing every single time. We loved this movie as kids. Watching it now, I think I love it even more. And that's extremely rare. You always get that one movie where you're like, oh, I used to love it as a kid, but now it just kind of doesn't really hold up as well. The Sound of Music is a near perfect movie. And I've said this in a lot of other videos too. I have the two sides of my brain that I can use when watching a movie, and if they both mesh well together, then you know that you have a really great movie, and Sound of Music is one of those movies. So let's start with my film school brain. Watching this movie after going through film school, I just look at every single shot and I'm just amazed with how gorgeous it looks. Yeah, you have the really romantic scenes that are just totally glamorous, but just like any other mundane scene, it just looks absolutely fantastic. Honestly speaking, you could probably watch this movie on mute. Yes, a musical on mute, and then just look at how beautiful the movie looks and still be amazed with it. This is one of the best, if not the best looking movie I have ever seen. Yes, that is high praise, but I really do believe it. And just a quick side note, I watched Braveheart for the first time in a long time last year, and because I was just so enthralled with that movie, I bought a ticket to Scotland and went that summer. Now watching Sound of Music, I honestly might buy a plane ticket to go to Austria and obviously visit Switzerland and Germany. The Sound of Music just makes Austria just look so beautiful, and if I do end up going there, I'll definitely make a video and do like a comparison side by side. I think that would be wonderful. So just from a visual standpoint, this movie is completely gorgeous. But like a lot of films have told us that sure, the movie may look amazing, but if it doesn't have likable characters, a great story, and an emotional impact, then sorry, but I don't want to watch it. Luckily, The Sound of Music gets all of that done perfectly. Fräulein Maria and Captain Von Trapp are two well-developed, three-dimensional characters that work so well together. You can't have a bigger juxtaposition. Maria is just so in love with life. She just hears the mountains singing to her and she wants to run and sing and just soak up all that life has to offer. And then Captain Von Trapp is order, discipline. Everyone sticks by a certain set of guidelines, and they totally clash, but they come to an understanding. Not only are the characters well written, but they're well directed and they are well acted too. Julie Andrews is just so wonderful. Mary Poppins, this, I mean, those movies came out right beside each other, but like she is just so wonderful. Her voice is perfect, absolutely perfect. And Christopher Plummer, man, that guy is one charming dude. Now, this may be just me, and I might just be completely crazy, but when watching this movie, I saw Daniel Craig. I mean, I just saw a lot of comparisons between the two. Again, this might just be me going completely crazy, but I just gotta say it. But it's not just those two in the movie. We have 7 Von Trapp kids. Now, when you have that many kids in the movie, you may think, oh, well, great, you're not gonna remember any of these kids. Like, how can you even keep track of all of them? But every single one of the Von Trapp family kids is memorable. Yes, they don't have enough time to really develop all of them as much as Maria and Captain Von Trapp, but all of them are memorable. You know every single one of their names and they're all adorable. And I just gotta be a guy here for a second. Liesl is just so gorgeous. And because we have such wonderful characters, the story is just that much more entertaining, even though there's not much happening in it. Yes, there's the whole Anschluss, Nazi Germany, Austria thing going on in the background, which obviously I did not understand when I was a kid, but watching it as an adult, you understand, you know, Ralph, you know, that guy that Liesl is in love with. You know, I understand what's going on in his mind and the relationship that he has with Liesl and Nazi Germany and all that stuff. Watching it as an adult, it just adds more and more layers, and it's just so wonderful. So you go down the list, right? You have every single one of the filmmaking aspects, you know, cinematography, the production design, everything has a check mark. You have likable characters, check mark, check mark. Christopher Plummer and Julie Andrews, wonderful performances, check mark, check mark. A story that we care about, check mark. Yes, everything I just mentioned before allows us to get emotionally invested into the story, but the music and the songs are absolutely incredible. Everyone knows these songs for a reason. One, they're catchy, and two, they really hit you in the feels and totally heighten the emotional investment in every single aspect of the story. You know, when I was a kid, I would always sing Do Re Mi and My Favorite Things, but as an adult, I get to see the beauty in Edelweiss. You know, when you hear Captain Von Tramp play it, you understand what is totally going on with his character and what his struggle is with his kids and the whole Nazi Germany thing, and you totally understand what's going on in the story. That song is just beautiful. But the one song that really impressed me this time around was Climb Every Mountain. You know, when the Reverend Mother starts singing it, for some reason, it just totally lifted my spirits, and it is such an uplifting and warm song. And you know what? I think those are the two best words to describe the movie. Uplifting and warm. Because this movie is 3 hours long, and I did not want it to end. Driving to work the next day, in the car, I'm singing, How do you solve a problem like Maria? These songs will not leave your head, guys. But even how the movie shoots the musical scenes, it's just wonderful. And The Lonely Goatherd, in terms of story, it doesn't really serve any purpose, but it's just so magical and wonderful. It's just, oh my god, I can't put into words how much I love this movie. However, saying that a movie is perfect is a giant statement. And I don't want to say, oh, every single person will love this movie, because I know people who don't like Star Wars. It's crazy. It blows my mind too. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, will there be any reason why someone will not like The Sound of Music? And honestly, the only thing I can really point to would be maybe some corny dialogue and some corny acting at some moments, and the songs. And when I mean the songs, I mean that the person who's watching the movie just does not like musicals whatsoever. If you're one of those people, well then, I'm sorry, but The Sound of Music is not going to be for you, which is such a shame because they do everything so well. Everything else they do so well, including the songs, but if you're not into musicals, then you're really missing out. And I can understand that some people might be able to see, like, especially some scenes with Liesl and Ralph and go like, okay, this is pretty hokey. But this was 1965, and you see a lot of other movies from that time period, they do have that dialogue kind of like that, like, I'm 16, what's such a baby about that? And then it just breaks into song. But again, this movie is just pure, uplifting, warm movie magic. So if you guys haven't guessed it already, I'm obviously going to give this movie a 5 out of 5. If I could give it a 6 out of 5, I would. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Now, I don't know where it ranks in terms of like my top 10. I'm planning on doing a top 10 list sometime in the future, but I really got to think about it. But I know that The Sound of Music will definitely be on there somewhere in the top 10. You got some hard competition, but again, if you have not seen this movie, guys, I implore you to go see it. Yes, it's old. Yes, the dialogue might be a little cheesy at some parts. Yes, if you don't like musicals, then yes, there's a lot of music in here. But this movie is just the reason why people go to the cinemas in the first place. You know, to be inspired, to be motivated, to be whisked away in magic. The Sound of Music is that movie. And if you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor, watch it, and then come back and tell me what you thought. I really do want to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. And who knows, I might just buy a plane ticket to Austria because of this movie. So if we have any Swiss, Austrian, or German viewers, well, guten Tag, wie geht's es Ihnen? Anyways, guys, I want you guys to tell me down in the comment section down below, what is your favorite musical of all time? I think I gotta go with this. Mary Poppins is close. Trust me, they're both perfect movies, but as of right now, I gotta say Sound of Music beats it just slightly. But who knows? Maybe I gotta watch both of them back to back. But either way, thank you guys so much again for watching. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night.